Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the input section of our defining table and where in our code this is all happening. Before we get into that, let's just do a little bit of a review about the general structure of an HTML document. As we've talked about before, there are two main tags inside of our HTML document, the head tag and the body tag. The body tag is where all of our HTML code is going to live. Any HTML tag that we write should be inside of the body tag. Now inside the head tag you will find this script tag, and the script tag is where we put all of our JavaScript. JavaScript always lives in a script tag, and I recommend that you keep your script tag for now inside of the head tag. So just how I have it here. So if you find yourselves putting paragraph tags or anything like that anywhere other than the body, then you can think that you have a clue that you might be doing something a little bit wrong. So going into input. So in order to get input from our end users, we need an HTML element that allows us to do that. The main HTML element that we've been using so far this semester is the input tag of type text. So there are lots of different input types. I mentioned a few of them in a previous screencast. The type that we use is a text one, mostly because that just makes a real nice, clean, easy input field here where an end user can type in anything they want and we can have access to it. But what's important to know is that this input tag has no smarts to it. It doesn't do anything other than provide a space on the page to type in data. That's all it does. We need to have a way to actually get the data out of this input box and into our JavaScript code in order to do the processing. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the mechanism for doing that. So in order to get the input into our JavaScript, the first thing we need is a place to store it. And so, of course, we're going to create a variable. And in this case, we're going to say our variable is called age. And since I know age is a number, I'm going to initialize it with a 0. So now we have a place inside our JavaScript code to save our input to and to use it and to do our processing with it and to process it. So, but at this point, there's no connection between these two things. They don't technically know that they even exist. So we need to create a mechanism to tie those two together, or at least be able to, at some point during our code, grab the information that is in here. So I type something in here in order to grab this string out of here and save it into there, right? And we do that, as you guys probably knows, or as you guys know up to this point, with the document .get element by ID, right? And here's where the important part comes in. So we basically want to tell our JavaScript code to save something from our HTML back into this variable. But in order for our JavaScript to be able to find this input tag, it has to have an ID, and that ID has to be unique. So we could call this age input, right? Because we know that we are going to use this input field to get the age, right? And we're just going to put that in front so that we have we know that this input field is always going to be used to get the age information. And so we give it an ID that is unique to that. And once this element has an ID, our JavaScript then has what it needs to be able to find that element. So this line of code right here will basically grab the whole input tag and anything associated with it. But really all we care about is we want to grab the value that has been entered into this box. That's all we care about it right now. So we can specify that in this line by saying .value. And so now in essence what we've done with this line of code is we have said, okay, I want you to go into the HTML document, so into our body here, and I want you to get the element that is called age input, which is this one here. And then once you've found that element, I want you to go find the value of that element and give it back to me. And so that's pretty much what you need to do in order to get the information that's been put into the HTML element into our JavaScript code.